When Apple announced the new 14 series, there was something missing. The Mini. Apple's committing to big phones and they're not turning back. So now I'm faced with this choice. Do I stick with the 13 Mini that I love? Or do I move towards the 14 Pro? Are the differences really worth it? Owning the 13 Mini has been a great experience. I've been able to easily use my phone with one hand, take great pictures and videos, and end most days with plenty of battery life to spare. With the 14 Pro, Apple's made some steps towards more Android-like features. In previous years, I've used the Google Pixel 2 and 3, and the way that they do always on display really grew on me. It was so convenient to just look at my phone and see the time, the date, the weather, and some notifications. So every year Apple would announce new phones, I would wait for this. And now, with always on display, this is the year that Apple finally made that move, and they did it in their own unique way. The display on the 14 Pro uses a similar technology to the Apple Watch Series 5 and newer, which is able to dim the display while retaining full color. And I gotta say, overall, I'm really impressed. I know it hasn't been the experience for everybody, but for myself, I haven't really been second guessing if my display was on or not. So the dynamic island. The name is what it is, and if anything, it's memorable. As a software feature, I gotta say, it's my favorite part of the 14 Pro. It makes the iPhone feel really fresh and more polished. It's a really clever way to make use of the space taken up by the front-facing camera and the Face ID sensor. It's an improvement to multitasking on an iPhone, and I appreciate it. Though once you go to the lock screen, everything looks and functions the same way between other iPhones on iOS 16. Outside of these features, the 14 Pro uses ProMotion display, which allows the display refresh rate to go from 60 to 120 Hz, making the screen feel really snappy. For myself, I enjoy that smooth, snappy experience, but if you're someone who's only used 60 Hz on older iPhones, then it's an excellent experience and nothing to scoff at. The display on the 14 Pro can get super bright in sun, which is awesome, because on my 13 Mini, I've run into experiences where it's really challenging to see the display out in direct sunlight. The display on the 14 Pro provides a more polished experience of what already exists. You can do the same thing on the 13 Mini and the 14 Pro, they're just done in slightly different ways. Now when it comes to a camera comparison, that can be a tough one. The main reason I choose the iPhone I choose is generally guided by the camera. The 13 Mini has a great pairing of a wide and ultra-wide camera, which takes great pictures in day and night, records 4K video, and is super easy to hold onto in one hand. For camera comparison, I focused on the two lenses that are similar on both phones, and focused mainly on features that both phones have. So in this case, raw photos from the 14 Pro won't be included. Something quick to note is that on the 14 Pro you have a 24mm focal length, whereas on the 13 Mini you have a 26. So there's a little bit of a difference in what the 14 Pro is able to capture. It's slightly wider. The results of my test really surprised me. When I compared daytime photos between the two cameras, sometimes it was really hard to tell the difference between them. Both phones produce really sharp photos, though sometimes the 13 Mini can look a little sharper thanks to software processing. With some of the photos, you really have to zoom into certain areas of the photos to find those differences between the two cameras. Something I did want to mention between the two phones is that while you can obviously do macro shots on the 14 Pro natively, on the 13 Mini and some other iPhones, you would have the option to do this using the Halide app. Take a look at these two shots. In this first shot, I've used the 14 Pro's macro mode and produced some amazing results, taking this picture of a tree. While on this shot on the 13 Mini, I've used the Halide app and I've been able to pull off some pretty amazing results as well. The more noticeable differences came down to low light photography, which is what you would expect given the improvements Apple made to the 14 Pro cameras. There's more detail and less grain or mush in the 14 Pro videos, which is most noticeable in this clip taken using the ultra-wide lens on both phones. In photos, the 14 Pro grabs more detail than the 13 Mini and seems to have fewer issues with light flaring. Both phones still suffer from green reflections, which is improved on the 14 Pro, but it's still there. There are similar results with portrait shots from both phones at night and during the day. Both phones trade places in quality of the cutout accuracy, which is also true with cinematic mode between the two devices. The 14 Pro does move from 1080 to 4K in cinematic mode, which if you use that mode often, is a nice improvement. Let's wrap up the camera comparison with a thought. The 14 Pro costs 40% more than the 13 Mini. I don't know if I can say with confidence that you're getting a 40% increase in the quality of your photos. Battery life on the 13 Mini has been amazing, especially for a phone of its size. I've easily made it through a full day on a single charge. Using the claims on Apple's website, you should expect around a 40% increase in battery from the 13 Mini to the 14 Pro, which I would say is about my experience between the two phones. So all these features aside, let's talk about the size. The size of the 13 Mini for me hits a real sweet spot. I can reach the entire display without readjusting the phone in my hand, and I'm never concerned about dropping the phone when I'm taking pictures. The 14 Pro has a couple tricks up its sleeve. The first of these is crash detection. This is something you never want to use, but knowing that your phone can call emergency services in the event of a car crash gives you that extra peace of mind. The second of these is the ability to text emergency services using satellite connection. This is available on any 14 series phone starting in November. It's free for 2 years, though there's no word on what it'll cost after that. So now that I've completed all these comparisons, I have to make a decision. It hurts my heart a little bit, but I've decided to ditch the 13 mini. In the end, the safety features on the 14 Pro really played a part in swaying my decision. Since moving from the Google Pixel, I've really missed the always-on display, and that's something I get back now. There are also some obvious benefits to the 14 Pro, like having a more powerful camera system, and the ability to shoot in ProRes and ProRAW. I hope you've enjoyed this comparison. What do you think? Are the improvements and features of a Pro Series iPhone enough to make you move out of a mini series or even a non-Pro iPhone? Let me know in the comments. Rest in peace, 13 mini. I will miss you.